Hello. I did it. I'm in charge. And this was a terrible decision. But anyway.
The best bit was, though, the absolute best bit was when you
went... it. I'm in charge. I'm...
Sorry, that's my echo. The best bit was when you were like, Frick, how do I do this?
And wait, Skishy. Oh, I almost blocked you.
Well, that wouldn't be useful, would it?
It's okay. I'd have turned up in the chat.
Skish would go and create a Twitter beef. That's what would happen.
Skish was telling me that she gave up on Twitter.
I'd have reinstalled my Twitter and I'd have created Twitter beef.
I'd be like, cancel the Nerd Queens. They blocked me from their stream.
I'd have done that. Would have made polls and everything. I'd have made a poster. No, I'd never do that.
I made a poster. I gotta fix my chair, actually. Because, it's so nice. I got a new chair since we last streamed. Was it since we last streamed?
Yeah.
I'm sure it was, yeah.
Yeah, last time we were live was with Full Circle with Zach. And that was a while ago now.
Yeah, that's true. I got a new chair since. It's a very nice chair.
April.
Huh?
Was Full Circle April?
Yeah, it was I think it was around. Oh my god! Completely escaped. It was somewhere March, April, somewhere then. Cole, when was the Full Circle?
I don't remember. I barely remembered how to turn this song how it'll go live.
Okay,
well,
that was
a long time anyway.
Hi, Todd. Thank you for coming.
That was 7 months ago.
That's not helpful.
It doesn't tell me what. It doesn't tell me what month. I was looking at our YouTube channel. It doesn't help me.
Well. Look at you. You get a fan club, and we nearly blocked you from the stream.
By accident.
I know.
Yeah, it was an accident. We promised.
Must be the hair. It's the rain swept look. Let's get that around there.
How was trick-or-treating, Skish?
How was it? It was really cold. I saw a kid, like I said, as a hot air balloon. Made my day. Literally made my whole day. I was like, I love that kid. Obviously, I couldn't say that out loud as him and his parents were walking by, but I was like, if I'm dressing up ever again, I'm going to dress up as a hot air balloon. I just thought it was the best thing ever.
I mean, that's
you really
fair.
have to be there to see it. But other than that, got loads of candy. The kids had to pay.
So each house you went to, did you take a tax or something?
No, I gave them a bag, and I was like, one house for you guys, one house for me. But Halloween's so different from when I'm older, so from when I was a kid. I got sent in a bin bag dressed up as a Christmas bag.
Someone was what?
When I was a kid, I got put in a bin bag, like a bin bag, and sent out dressed up as a witch. But
okay, I mean, it's a choice.
But there's a kid out there today dressed up as an eyeball. An eyeball. Like, where are you getting these suits? Brilliant. I loved it.
So you guys don't have Spirit Halloween where you are, but do you have anything similar?
Do you know what Spirit Halloween is? Skish.
Similar. No.
It's a Halloween store.
Basically, America has this thing where every fall season is just shops that pop up for 3 months. and they're called like Spirit Halloween, whatever, and they just have Halloween decor. But
I
don't
think we might have one.
And costumes and stuff, and just like little things. It's a lot of fun to go.
No, I can't say it. Like, I think there might be one, like out in the city, maybe, like out in town, but nowhere near me. Like, we just Tesco puts out a little aisle, loads of offers on chocolate and plastic pumpkins and stuff. That's about it. That's about it.
Yeah, I don't think like anybody's really honestly doing any like holidays the way America does them, to be quite honest with you. I think that's very like after 2 years of living there, that's my experience with it anyway.
I think America does everything bigger and better.
Yeah, when it comes to Halloween, definitely. Like, and also Christmas. I love how we do Christmas here. I don't know. I just love that when it's all just a lot. I don't know. I don't like
I love how
most other holidays, but
great for Christmas. I love that part.
It's funny. I was watching a TikTok the other day, and it was
We're not
this guy.
allowed
What? What'd you say, Skish? What'd you say, Rach?
I said we're not allowed to put up our Christmas tree until the 8th.
8th of December. Oh.
What do you mean not allowed?
It was like an agreement in the house. Like, some people thought we put it up too early, and then it was like, oh well, we're not putting it up until this date.
We don't put it up until like this the first Sunday of December.
I had this tradition for the past 2 years, but I put mine on Thanksgiving, which is funny because like I live in Britain and I'm Czech, so you know the only reason I'm even celebrating Thanksgiving is cold. But I've been putting up my Christmas tree on Thanksgiving.
I like that.
See, that's a good. Except for the time you didn't take it down until Mom came to visit.
Oh, she was so mad.
That was like it was when you had your sickness and you didn't get to take it down until May, I think.
She took it down for me.
Right.
Because she was like, "You're not gonna have Christmas tree here in summer. Happy Halloween, Todd."
She was judging, and she had every right to judge.
Come on, this is not the first time actually I had Christmas tree on for so long. Oh, happy Halloween! Thank you.
Though Nana and her mom are coming to Thanksgiving this year, Rach. So I'm going to slowly decorate early for Christmas in November before they come, so that way they can experience the house.
I'm excited. I remember you telling me that a few months ago, and I'm still so excited for it to happen.
Oh yeah, so am I. It's odd because we've been planning this trip for like years, me and my mom. So it's just odd that it's finally like happening, you know. It's just like really set in stone and it's really going forward. But it's pretty cool, I think.
I can't wait to hear all about it. I can't. Like it's I might get to hear back just for that.
I'm sure we'll have lots of selfies and stuff.
It's just so cute, though. I'm so excited for you.
It'll be fun for her to actually be in the pit. It'll be fun for Nana to be in the annual Thanksgiving photo instead of on my iPad.
Oh yeah, because
usually she joins us while on my iPad in a FaceTime call, so I am always holding her while taking a selfie of the whole family.
It'll be nice not to have to cook as well. Like that's just gonna be nice because I used to, you know, I would always have to cook and I was lazy. Whatever. I'm here as Wednesday Addams.
Today. I'm here as Naruto, sort of. I mean, Naruto doesn't wear glasses, but I'm blind and I don't have contacts, though. I'm still Naruto, but I'm blind to Naruto.
So am I, but I'm just like winging it. So I don't actually know if I look good, but I'm hoping I am.
You look adorable. Hi, Steven.
You look great.
Hey, Steven.
So I was listening to this TikTok from like a lawyer, and he was going over weird Halloween themed. Hi, Lynn. Is that your sister?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, that's why I was laughing. I was like trying to keep a straight face. Yeah, she's my sister.
Hi, Skishy sister.
Thank you. Anyway, what were you on, Cole? What were you saying?
I was watching this TikTok with a lawyer who's doing Halloween themed laws, and there was one that was totally valid and I think should be adopted everywhere. In France, it's literally illegal to dress up on Halloween as a clown.
Yeah. The thing is, I'm really on the fence with it because clowns are creepy as heck. But I kind of enjoy it. Like, I don't know.
Same, except for like the whole do you remember that year? I think you were still living in America. A few years ago, Rachel, we had this situation where everybody was dressing as killer clowns and literally trying to kill people.
I remember watching that on the news.
Trying to kill people, but there were just like groups of people who were just dressed as clowns.
But there were people the reason it became viral was because there's literally people getting stabbed by clowns, and it was like people would look at you funny. Walmart stopped carrying clown masks and stuff.
Yeah, it was a very odd time to be alive. I mean, to be fair, the entire past,
America's
15 years has been a very odd time to be alive, to be honest. So, I don't know if we can
There was
I remember the clown era, yeah.
There was another law that was like you can't in Arkansas, I think it was, you can't go trick-or-treating on Sunday. So if Halloween comes on Sunday, you're forced to go the day before or the day after, which sounded lame.
Why? Was there any reason?
Probably because Sunday's the day of the Lord.
That's what I was gonna say. Is it because it's a holy day, maybe?
Yeah. You know, you gotta love how with Christian holidays or Christian traditions, they're like, oh, Sunday's the day of the Lord. We can't do shit. You can't do shit either. But then with Jewish days of worship, it's always on a Saturday, but they don't tell you can't do stuff if you're not Jewish. They're like, oh, but we can, but it's okay if you like.
Yeah. For example, in my country, we don't celebrate Halloween at all. I mean, I think
which is weird because you guys are haunted as frick.
I mean, we just have an all-year Halloween, you know what I mean? Like, just go to any castle. It was funny because I was sending into one of our group chats that Co and I are in with some of our friends. I always said that the flat where my mom lives is haunted. And it's just became such a casual thing because it's just, if you grow up in it, you just don't care. I have this video of my brother because we were just talking about the resident ghost the other day, and we were just like joking about it. And my mom was like, and there's no ghosts and whatnot. And my brother just looked at her like dead in the eye, and he goes, so how do you explain that for the last 15 years that we've had this radio, we could not turn it off? And I goes, what do you mean? I said, well, and I looked at him, I was like, what do you mean? Because I'd never really realized it. I used to just tune the volume down and just leave it on the silent. So that's maybe why I didn't think about it.
So it's always turned on.
Sorry?
So it's always turned on?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
He went up to it and he pressed the turn off button, right? And 5 seconds later, it turned back on. Just not gonna it just turned back on. We can't turn off our radio, basically.
Can you not?
I wanted to try to show it because it's like he turns off the video and he turns off the radio and then walks away a few steps and it turns back on when his hands are up. He's not touching it, and I wanted to show it, but the thing won't let me. It says that it's not the right video type. That's hilarious.
Yeah. That's hilarious.
I just went. So I was texting with Nana when she went. She spent like 3 weeks and back home in Czech Republic, and she was staying with her mom, which is the haunted flat owner. And I was like, "Hey, how's mom's?" And she goes, "Oh, it's fine. The ghost is walking again." And I was like, "Oh, okay."
Oh, that's the most prominent thing about the ghost, but it's really hard to like record anywhere. Basically, say, if you have a carpeted room in your house, when you walk across it, you're not loud. Your steps are not loud, but you can hear them. You know what I mean? Like that sort of low sound that you just have that.
Yeah,
so
it's muffled,
if you go to sleep in the flat where my mom lives, you hear it back and forth all night. Across the flat, back and forth all night.
I can testify that I have heard it at least once, because when Nana and I were a lot younger and first met, sometimes when her mom would work nights, Nana would call me on Skype, and we would stay up together because she'd be home alone. And once, while she was like laying on the couch falling asleep, all of a sudden I hear do do do, and I was just like I was like, "What's that?" And she goes, "It's just the ghost." I'm just like, "It's just the ghost."
Oh no.
Oh, no. Okay.
You just gotta, you gotta roll with the punches. To be fair, Cole experienced this. My grandparents have a flat in the town as well. And by the way, like that one is something. That one is like really something. And we were offered, because that flat is mostly empty. My grandparents are now staying in what used to be a summer house. It's now pretty much full and functioning house, and that's like out of town. So they are staying there. So the flat is most of the year it's empty unless somebody comes for a visit. So then they sort of like send it out there. And so when Cole and I came, because Cole came to visit me in Czechia, my grandparents were like, "Well, why don't you guys stay in the flat so that, you don't clash with my mom, as mom's flat's small and whatnot." And I was like, "Yeah, sure, we can." And I did not warn Cole about the experience she was about to have. And it was funny.
Let me explain, though. I'm okay with haunted stuff. I'm used to it, but there were just some things that caught me completely off guard. So when you walk out of there's like a living room, and there's a bedroom, and then there's the kitchen and bathroom, what have you. And so we got back. It was after we had just got back from her grandma's house. It was snowing like hell, so we decided we're gonna spend the evening in eating leftover halushki and cookies, and we were going to watch Harry Potter on my laptop. And so that's what we were doing. We were chilling, and I had to go to the bathroom. So I paused the movie. I got up, and I walked past the mirror in the hallway, and I just glanced at it, thought, "Huh, that looks kind of weird." Didn't think much of it, because it looked kind of like watery, but I thought I was just seeing it out of the corner of my eye. And then after I finished in the bathroom, I was walking out, so I'm now head on with the mirror, and it's still looking weird. So I stopped there, and I stood in front of it, and then I hit the lights for the hallway, and it was like the mirror had gone from being a normal like mirror to looking like a funhouse mirror. And I was like, Nana. I was like, "You gotta come look at the mirror. You have to come look at the mirror." And she goes, "Oh, is it fucking up again?" I was like, "Fucking up again." I was so frantic because I'd never encountered something so visceral. Yeah, exactly.
Like that whole flat is just something really. So the flat, the way that it's built, is like a long hallway, and from the hallway you just turn into the separate rooms. So you got entry, you got long hallway. At the end of that hallway is a bathroom, and then you got 2 rooms on one side, which is living room and bedroom, and then you got 1 room on the other side. It used to be 2, but my grandparents, after my mom and my uncle moved out, and me and my brother growed up a little, they just kind of decided that they're gonna take this spare bedroom and they instead gonna build like a big kitchen. so that there is a good dining room, so that when the family meets up all together, we can hang out. And hi, happy Halloween. Yes,
Hello.
It has been a while. It has been a while, but we're glad that you guys are here. So anyway, so basically in this, what it used to be then, it used to be 2 rooms. Now, the part of the house, or the part of the kitchen where the previous bedroom used to be, there is now basically, usually the kitchen counters as they are, you have them like this, and there's fridge in the very corner. And the funny bit about that fridge is that it's in a corner where if you put a thermometer there, the entire corner, with or without a fridge, is 2 degrees colder than the rest of the house. We don't know why. It's 2 degrees colder than the rest of the house. And back in the day, when it was a bedroom, there was the pillow of the bed used to be in that corner. And I remember it because when I would sleep over as a kid, I would always flip it over and I would have the pillow on the other side, because I just never liked that corner. But it's just there.
Oh,
I just love how it's such a typical Czech solution to be like, well, frick it, we're gonna put the fridge in that corner then.
I mean, you gotta be practical, right? Like, what else are you gonna do with it?
It's I'm very I don't mind haunted stuff. I'm very chill with haunted stuff. I've been exposed to a lot of haunted stuff, but it's always like you get caught off guard and you're like, help.
It is also like in the same kitchen on the other side of the room. There is this little tiny, like a cupboard room, which is just separated by the door, and there is nothing in there, like as far as like heating or aircon or anything like that. None of that is in there. But my grandparents, as far as I know, ever since I'm alive, have been storing their like stuff, like alcohol and food. And it served pretty much as a second fridge because that room is so cold. And like it's just there. It's just what it is.
I love your face, Rach. You're like, dislike.
Well, what if someone's like buried in the walls, though?
I don't think anyone's buried in the walls.
But to be fair, the buildings are super old.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, the town I am from is like 700 years old, and there was a massive fire which essentially burned down the entire town about 250 years ago or so. So lots of these buildings, like either they survived it or they were built on top of the ones that didn't. So like, for example,
and the ashes are mixed with the cement.
I think she's done.
I'm literally like, if I wake up in the middle of the night and it's too dark and I'm about to roll over, I'm like, please don't let anyone be there because I don't want to see you. Just come to me in my dreams. And then I roll over and I'm like, and there's nobody there. I can't do it. Like,
I think that, like, as far as ghosts go, maybe because, obviously, as like a pagan witch and stuff, I kind of now have tools to,
feel more secure.
Yeah, like deal with if there is anything maleficent, sort of like malevolent, malicious, whatever. I feel like I can deal with it better. But like, I don't know, it just never, like, you should have seen me, because in this house where I live right now, I had a problem where we found a mouse. So I was trying to catch a mouse. And catching a mouse and like the idea of mouse being in my house was so much more terrifying for me than a ghost. Because I can deal with a ghost. I know what to do with a ghost. But a mouse,
like a friendly ghost, like a friendly one,
even unfriendly one, to be honest. It's like I know how to deal with them. I know how to send them away if they're unfriendly. But like the idea of no.
Well, I'm just saying out loud to any ghosts that may be in my house, don't come to my room. Thank you. Thanks. Yeah,
you need the front. There's a meme that.
Listen, as far as ghosts go, I think my worst experience ever was when Cole took me to Clinton Road, and I will never forgive her for that. And whenever she starts suggesting it again, I would like to eat her.
Oh my God. Okay. So there was something in the news the other day. Clinton Road, New Jersey has been marked as the most haunted road in America.
Oh, why?
I'm not surprised.
I think that's pretty freaking awesome.
The thing about it is that it wasn't necessarily that I was convinced that it was haunting. Like when we went there, I mean, look, if I give you facts.
Your sis is what do you call it? Is ratting you out.
Yeah, no, 100%. I'll put the torch on my phone or something. And I'm like,
well, the thing with Clinton Road, I think, is just when we went, it was like the main thing that we had was like there is supposed to be a ghost truck that's supposed to chase you and, you know, tailgate you at like really high speeds, and the road is very, you know, narrow and full of sharp turns. So we go, and Cole's like, it'll be fine. I've driven through here before. I know what I'm doing. And then we're driving, and suddenly,
but wait! You're forgetting my famous last words. I said to her, "If nothing happens, I hope you won't be disappointed." And then, literally, like within minutes, maybe within seconds, the fucking ghost truck is behind us, and we're like, "Oh, I really stepped in it now."
Yeah, so like literally, basically, headlights come on right behind us, and somebody's tailgating us, really, really tailgating us, until we pretty much got to the opposite side of the road. And I was so done at that point. I was like, I am not doing this. Because the thing about this is like, and what I always say, I think the most terrifying thing about this is because if you talk to people and they say, well, it wasn't a ghost, ghosts don't exist. And in this case, maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was just people who were absolutely insane and were trying to bank on the story that is spinning around the road. You know what I mean? But in that case, you have to imagine that there was people who owned a black pickup truck, and they were driving without their lights on until they got so close to us and turned the headlights on. So somebody was willing to put this effort into scaring someone. And the fact that they were tailgating us, even, whether it was a ghost or a real person, that was just terrifying because you never know. You know what I mean? Like,
so for anyone who doesn't really know, Clinton Road is basically this stretch of road that's both, they used to be part of a highway, and it's very remote. There's like maybe one or two houses every 10 miles or so. Like I honestly want to talk to someone who's living there and just ask them what it's like sometime. But anyway, so it's really well known for several things. One of them is Dead Man's Curve, which is this really sharp turn. So that comes out of nowhere. So if you're not going at a reasonable speed when you get to it, you will go off into the water because there's a river there, and it's a bridge. And the legend goes that a little boy was riding on his bicycle, and he got hit by a car on Dead Man's Curve, and he became like the spirit of the bridge. And so people then afterwards would then drive off the road because they would see this child out of nowhere panic and drive and die. So it became called Dead Man's Curve. And one of the things that people do is they will, at Dead Man's Curve, you'll stop and you'll throw pennies out into the water. And then on your way back out of Clinton Road, if your pennies are supposed to have shown up right there on the bridge, or you might find them at home, which I've had both happen. I once was with a community group, and we did the pennies thing, and no one was at the house we were staying at. The house was locked up and everything. And so we threw the pennies, and we were upset because they didn't get thrown back. And then we get back to the house, and there's a penny on each of our end tables. Just, yeah. And so other than that, so it's like once you get to Dead Man's Curve, yes, I am Omari. I am Naruto. Believe it. But so once you get to Dead Man's Curve, that's when shit starts to get real. Because it's like, if there are ghosts, they're very considerate. They don't start really scaring you until after that. Because then you get to the really remote part of Clinton Road. And so with the ghost truck, as the story goes, there's this like pickup truck that you'll be driving along. It's pitch dark and there's trees everywhere. So you're literally alone. And then headlights come up behind you, and you realize the headlights are coming really fast. So you start going a little faster. And then all of a sudden, they're just on your ass. They are climbing into the car with you at that point. And you are panicking. You're speeding as fast as you can at this point because you don't want to get hit by this car. And then they turn their lights off. And you can hear them sometimes, and like they'll turn them back on and off sometimes. And so what I've found for me when I'm go down, because I've now driven down Clinton Road 4 times, and of course lived to tell the tale. Apparently I'm good at defensive driving. That's probably what it is. But I'll pull over and I'll let the ghost truck go by, or the truck, and the scariest part about it, though, isn't the fact that it's chasing you, because that's something that could be humans and everything. It's the fact that if you'll watch it disappear under your headlights. Like you're pulled off to the side, it'll go past you, and your headlights will be on it, and then all of a sudden their lights will turn off again, and it's gone. Right in front of you. And it's so scary. And the best way to do it is to go back out the way you came, so you have to turn around at some point.
The best way to do it.
And well, I know Nana's opinion at this point is the best way is never to go again.
Yes, exactly. That's exactly my opinion.
And like there's
Jersey to me right now.
And at one point when you're driving down Clinton Road, is that you can see a light in the distance off of the road, and that's at this like broken tower that, because it was built there during this time when they used to like try to do like castles in America, and it's like a tower type thing, and a light will appear there occasionally, and it could be many things. It could be the murderous albinos that are heard to be living in those woods.
Albinos?
Yeah, I know. It could be the hobos. It's always possible. Could be the Nazis, or it could be the Satan worshippers. But it's probably the Ku Klux Klan.
And this is what she thought would be a great idea to take me to.
You wanted to go, okay? She makes me sound like a terrible person, but she wanted to go.
Where I wanted to go was the Cecil Hotel.
We did that too, and we saw melting dead people.
Melting dead people.
To be fair, like melting dead people, we don't know if they were dead, but they sure looked like they were melting. But that's probably just downtown Los Angeles at night, to be fair.
So the Cecil Hotel is this haunted hotel in LA, in Hollywood, and it's
not in Hollywood. It's downtown LA.
Okay. Whatever.
It's by Skid Row, downtown.
It's downtown LA. It used to be this really like extravagant looking hotel, and
it was extravagant.
What?
Sorry, I was just
no.
I used to know that it's got like a history of like serial killers staying there.
Well, yeah, it's got a history of serial killers hiding out there, and Yes, I'm going to explain the melting.
I agree.
I'm going to explain the melting people. Well, maybe it'll leave more questions than answers. But so it has this history of like serial killers hanging out there, hiding from the cops, you know, yada yada. And at one point, it shut down. People would still report, like, that lived in the buildings around it would say, "Oh, I still see shadows in there. Sometimes I hear screaming, yada yada." And at one point, they reopened the hotel as like an economy hotel, and the Black Dahlia was found dead there.
No.
Or was it the people?
Now, see, my true crime self is gonna come and kick in here. So, Black Dahlia it's speculated that the last sighting of Black Dahlia live was in that hotel.
Oh, right. I got it.
It was also a hotel where Richard Ramirez stayed. It was a hotel where they found Elisa Lam in those water tanks, which was supposed to be, which was like, I think it was like 10 years ago-ish. But there was like multiple of these instances. There are instances of suicides. They're sort of like, it's just a hotel with really bad luck, so to speak.
And it's been closed and opened every so often, every couple of years.
They rename it every time something bad happens. Sort of just this thing. Now, this hotel is placed a bit, unfortunately, as far as I understand it, because it's placed by Skid Row, which in LA is sort of place where all the homeless people congregate.
So when we were in LA, the first time we went to LA, Nana and I had watched on BuzzFeed Unsolved with the Ghoulie Boys. We'd watched the episode about the Cecil Hotel. So of course, being the unstable folks we are, we had to go find it.
After we were specifically told not to go downtown LA at night.
Yeah, my poor best friend Chris, who was hosting us, he said, "Don't go downtown LA at night. Don't be like, if you're out at night, at least come home before midnight." It was like 1 a.m. by the time we finally went, so that happened.
We just wanted to go on a trip. I mean,
so we were driving up to like where the hotel was, and it's mostly boarded up on the front, but on the side you can still see the facade that used to say Hotel Cecil. So I was like taking pictures of that, without getting out of the car. We did not get out of the car. We are not that way.
We didn't have anywhere to stop. I would have totally gotten out of the car.
Yeah, but then as we were pulling up to the to like the stop, like there's a stoplight right after that, and I turned to Nana. I was like, "That person doesn't look right," and Nana's like, "No, it doesn't look right." And we're both sitting there like that person's melting.
Person really looked, and he stopped. Like we were stopping. And then like red light.
We got more trick-or-treaters. It's okay, I'm not running away. But like no, sorry, we never get trick-or-treaters. But we like they were literally like they were crossing in front of our car, and the guys, and we're like, "That person doesn't look right." And then the person stopped and looked at us. And they looked like they had melted like plastic. And we were like, "Holy we were done." I don't think Nana's driven that fast in a city before in her life. Like we were
like,
done.
You know what? Maybe this is enough of like me being the first person to die in a horror movie kind of shit. So
we drove away from there so fast, but we were both, and then after we got away, we're like, "That person looked like they had been melting, right? You saw that, right?" Oh my God. And we got
to our friends, and he's like, "Where were you guys?" He's like,
"Well," we tell him. And he's like, "This is exactly what I told you not to do." He was like, "What if something happened? I didn't want to have to call your dad, Nicole. I didn't want to have to tell him what you did."
Oh God! Okay, so I'm not going there either. So,
to be entirely fair, when somebody tells us not to do something, when it's like traveling places, we usually end up doing it because
wasn't that the same year we went to Vegas first?
Oh yeah, that was funny.
Yeah, we went to Vegas. That was the same summer that we went to Vegas, and my dad told us, "Don't get those drinks that are like this big."
So the first thing we did was send him a selfie with drinks precisely like that.
This big.
100%. I would do the same.
Hey, it came with free refills. We had margaritas by a pool. Did we get tipsy?
Yeah, we got completely wasted by the pool at 10 p.m. With frozen margaritas.
That's more kind of my thing than driving down ghost roads or hotels.
Well, we were already planning to go to find it when he told us that. We just thought it was funny. You know, it was actually scarier than the ghost hotel. It was the Scientologists.
Oh yeah, that was creepy.
There's like 3 Scientologists, or at least it felt like there was 3. There's like at least 2 on Hollywood Boulevard, and like where the Walk of Fame is, and that's where we had been walking all afternoon. And we had gone to the Hard Rock Cafe there on the Walk of Fame area to go for dinner and whatnot. And we kept walking past the Scientology buildings, and I swear to you, they must have like, you know, like a microphone or something, because we passed when we were going to get the car so we could go do our ill-advised adventure. We were walking past the first one, and they were like, "Oh, you should come inside. We got the air conditioning. You can have some water." We were like, "No, thank you." And we kept walking, and we get to the other building, and they pick us out. They were like, "Oh, ladies, come inside." It's like I said to Nana, they totally told them to look out for us.
Yeah, Scientology is like not funny business.
So frightening sometimes. And then that's when we then got the car and we went and looked. You know, Nana, next time we're in LA, we got to go look at the Cecil Hotel again, but do it in daylight. See if it's still creepy.
I was going to offer that we should stay there just for the fun of it.
It's not open.
It's not?
No, they've been renovating it for the last forever, and that's where those TikToks keep popping up from the guy who lives across the street from it, and who sees weird shit over there. During the pandemic, I came across this guy on TikTok who was like living across the street from the Cecil, and weird people. He kept seeing weird stuff in the windows, and he was just like, "I'm here to report that we are in lockdown. There is no one supposed to be in that building." But this ghost will not. But this figure will not.
There was that one video which got viral because there was somebody literally standing in the window and screaming, I think. Yeah, it was that hotel is just. I think it's just cursed at this point.
No, I'm not going there either. Okay.
Rachel bucket list of places to not go.
No, I'm not going here. The good thing is I don't drive, so I can't go on that road.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not going on that road either, and I can drive.
Well, in Jersey is the start of the Weird franchise. So there's the Weird New Jersey books and magazines, and now there's one for almost every state. Layla! I saw a doggo. Here's a puppy. But and so there's a bunch of places to go, and one of the places I did go was Shades of Death. There's literally a road, like its government name is Shades of Death Road.
Shades of Death.
Yeah. Like somebody submitted that to the government, and somebody said, "All right, that's a great name for a neighborhood."
I mean, it's creative.
And it's not that weird, honestly. It was such a letdown. We went down there. It was dark. Nothing happened. The only thing really exciting was the sign. So.
Welcome to Shades of Death.
There was another place I went to when I was younger, when I was with the community group. And I used to, the thing is with the community group is I was forced to leave the house and I didn't want to. So I usually was sat in the back of the car with a book trying to I didn't even consciously know where we were going half the time. And at one point we went to an abandoned village, there was a little village of just houses that were abandoned due to a flood. And we walked through these houses, And because at the time I was the smallest and the lightest, like I was 90 pounds. So they were able to pick me up so I could go into like the attic and stuff and crawl around. And I found old checkbook. I have a checkbook put away for now, but it's an old checkbook from JP Morgan from like the 1800s from it, and like old workbooks and stuff. It was so weird. And it wasn't until just the other day I realized where that little abandoned village was from. It was probably in the Pine Barrens, and they're the most haunted stretch of land in New Jersey. It's where the Jersey Devil is. It's where people just end up going missing and die and stuff.
Sorry, I feel like Jersey is like the most haunted state in America or something.
It's pretty, honestly, it's pretty close. It's so funny to have a claim to fame like that.
I would assume Louisiana would be haunted as hell.
Oh, I'm sure it is. It's just nothing is, it's just that Jersey just seems to corner the market on the weird. And then like in the weird books, you can see other stuff that's like more mundane. Like there's a house in New Jersey that looks like a pumpkin. Like literally it looks like a big pumpkin. It's really cute. I've seen that in person before, but I don't remember exactly where it is. Like, and then there's another one listing that I've been to. I used to drive past it regularly. That was just these telephone poles, and things started appearing on top of the telephone poles, like a toy or a reindeer or something. And every time one of them falls down, someone replaces it, and nobody knows who does it. Like the cops have literally tried to stake it out and not caught them. It's weird, but it's kind of wholesome. But you know what's actually quite funny is in my hometowns, across the street from the middle school, I realized somebody had taken one of the pink Barbie planes and put it on top of a telephone pole. So it's like someone's trying to make one here in our little neck of the woods.
I like that. That's not bad. That's not plenty. That's not little boy giving you back your pennies. I can handle that.
It's not dead people.
Yeah, that aren't going to haunt me today.
So are you the kind of person that watches a horror movie and you jump at everything?
I don't watch horror movies. Literally. What have I seen? I seen one back in like 2007.
I think we could put you and my brother Christian, and everyone else can watch a horror movie. We'll put you and Christian in the other room.
Yeah, do you know, I could probably watch a Hallmark horror film.
Do those even exist, you think?
I don't know. There should be a market for them. It's probably like one where the ghost and the homeowner get together or something.
Oh, like the movie Ghost with Whoopi Goldberg and Patrick Swayze.
Yes, something like that.
I wanted to show you girls, but I don't know if I can make this work. Have you seen Cole on Facebook? My dad posted the pictures from that haunted church.
No, I don't think I've seen it. Can you pull it up?
Yeah, I'm looking at it. Hold on, give me a sec. There we go. So can you see it? Can you see my screen?
Yes. Ooh, pretty.
So hang on, I'm gonna move the pictures, okay? So tell me that you see it. So basically, just to give you a premise, there is a church somewhere in Czechia. I'm not entirely sure where, but it should be close to Prague, where they decided it's like an abandoned church. It's no longer being used, but there is an art project in there where there's statues made that look like ghosts in a way.
Oh, with the blankets or the sheets, right? Yeah, those.
Not an actual.
Those at colleges.
I don't know if this is an actual sheet or if it's a statue, but this is what it looks like. This is my dad. Ignore that.
That was her dad. It's okay. He's alive. I promise. I've met him.
He's alive. I promise. Yes. As far as I know, anyway. But yeah, this is what it looks like. And it's basically like an art installation.
That's so cool.
It looks like it's sheets. It's an actual sheet thing.
Yeah, I saw someone in one of the when it was like snowing heavily at a college. Someone did that with sheets. Like they made them wet and then position them to look like they were on top of a person, and then let the snow freeze it. So I've seen that before. I've seen it done as statues as well. Oh wow. By the confessional looks spooky.
I think like it's definitely pretty pictures. But yeah, if you ever go to Czechia, here's some tourism you can explore. So yeah.
The candle's lovely.
I just love how she flips the picture with her dad in it. You're like, oh no.
I mean,
I wasn't expecting human.
You weren't expecting my father in there.
You like they're made to look like, and I was like, this is absolutely terrifying. And then there's just a human there. Because I was half expecting there to be like you to show me a picture where there's a ghost in the corner, and I was like, it's all right, it's okay.
Yeah, no, I mean, my dad probably wouldn't mind. He's public figure anyway, so it's not like I would need to protect his privacy, whatever. But
there's what do you call it? I forgot what I was gonna say. Never mind.
But yeah, so I just thought about it because obviously Halloween came up, and
I remember now.
Yeah.
So there's when I was like maybe 11 or 12, my dad got me real good with this jump scare, but it was like this commercial looking video, and it was like just the car and Pretty Bird music, and it looks so nice, and all of a sudden a zombie jumps out, literally sent me flying across the room. And I feel like if we tried to sneak that in on you, Rachel, you would be done.
I feel like I've seen these ones with the car, and then there was one today about how you can sneak drugs into oranges, and I was like, something's gonna pop out here. I know something's gonna pop out. And what was it? It was one of those like fake spider things, and I still jumped. And I was like, I knew it. I knew this was going to happen. I will literally watch those videos like this. And then even the first 3 times I watched Army of the Dead, I was like this. But now I'm like, oh, I know where everything is. I think I went to watch Dawn of the Dead, and I Googled, where is the jump? And they told me all the scary bits. Like,
it doesn't surprise me that they have something like that to tell you where all the scary stuff is.
Apparently there is I don't know if it's a new game or if it's like an old game that people just started playing, but I've seen some streamers who played this game, and that game is literally calibrated that it will restart every time you scream. So like you have to, when you start playing it, you have to connect your mic and your headphones to it. And you're literally walking through all these different locations, like random locations, and they're different jump scares. And anytime you like get freaked out and scream, that game just restarts.
Yeah, I know. I don't remember the name, but I know what you're talking about. When I was a freshman in college, I was helping run the for the younger kids, the community anime club. And so our annual thing was every Halloween we had a party. And so one year I was the vice president, and our president, El Presidente, bless him, Al, was a little over enthusiastic. So he had learned about that game, and he decided to put into the storage closet a television with the game set up in the dark. So if you wanted to play, you had to go into the storage closet to play it. And when I tell you we were in a library too. It was a community room at the library. We were based at a library. So it was like they expected like the normal amount of noise and like screeching from like the kids having fun. And I mean kids of like many ages. There was like the youngest there was 6, and the oldest was me at the time, 19. And so
it was just 6.
So I'm off in the corner with our
I'll give it like a jump scare.
I was helping our Diane, who was like our liaison with the library. She was like this older woman, very lovely. We got on like a house on fire, and I was helping her set up for dunking for apples, and all of a sudden we hear screaming like bloody murder. My life is being stolen from me, screaming. It turns out the 6-year-old followed older brother into the storage room and had the life scared out of him by whatever jumped out at him.
Here comes the year of trauma and therapy.
It was so funny though, because we heard screaming, then bang, because he tried to run out the closet, but the door was shut. And
poor guy.
And his mom, thankfully his mom had stuck around, so she was able to like take care of him. And she didn't blame us, but after that I was like, Al, we're turning it off. No. He was like, oh, come on, but it's going really good. He was like, come on, VP, let me keep it going. I was like,
it's the thing, like when kids do something they should. And I remember as a kid, I used to be obsessed with horrors. I still remember with my stepsister at the time, we once watched The Exorcist, and obviously a classic, that's how you start, I guess. Whether we should have watched it when we were like 10, that's a whole different story, obviously, but we did. And I was obsessed with like horror movies since. Now, to be fair, my dad was always kind of like okay with it. So like at the time we would actually rent them, because you had to still rent VRCs at the time, which I am so old. Damn. But anyway, that's a whole different scary story. So we would rent them out and we would just watch all these different horror movies. And then I was used to doing this, but I was used to doing this with my stepsister. So I was never alone, which kind of had that like a effect of not being as scared. And then one time I was at home at my mom's and I was alone, and it was a daylight. But I just decided that I want to watch The Ring because everybody was talking about it. At the time it was like this big thing, right? And I was like, well, I should watch it. But at the same time, it was scaring me because I was too young for that. And I remember putting that tape on, and obviously the whole premise of it, which I believe everybody knows, is surrounding the tape, right? And I had the misfortune of a really bad series of coincidences when I finally gathered the courage to do this, because I turned on the TV, I turned on the video player, I put the VRCN, and the first time the warning came up, because obviously Ring at the time had the warning that they're not responsible for any mental thing that it causes. And the first time that I read that warning, I turned it off and I put it back. And I came back to it about a week later. And I put it in, and it starts obviously with the warning, then it goes all grainy and whatnot. And obviously the premise is you have the tape, you play the tape, phone rings, you got 7 days, that's it, right? And the video started, and I watched the tape as they watched the tape, and their phone rings. And after that, my phone rings. And it was landline at the time. And so I pick it up, and our landline was a bit dodgy. And there was nothing in there.
You're just like, I'm going to die.
And I hung up, and I shit you not, I was scared shitless. And there's no polite way to put this. I nearly pissed myself. I was so terrified. And I hung up that phone, and what our phone used to do, if you picked it up and you picked it up wrong, I guess, then it would do the static thing. And then you hung up and it kept ringing. So you would then pick it up properly and somebody would be there. So that's exactly what happened. And then my mom was there. She was just checking up on me because she was at work. but I spent next 7 days genuinely expecting that I'm gonna die. It was just a series of unfortunate events. It wasn't anything that but yeah, I spent the following week expecting that I'm gonna die. And I was too worried that I'll be in trouble to tell anybody that I'm this afraid.
I think when I was younger, when I was around that age, the scariest movie I'd watched was Lord of the Rings, which let me tell you, I had an irrational fear of the orcs for a while. Like it wasn't the orcs themselves; it was the orc pits. You know how they were born from the pits? I would have nightmares that I was trapped in an orc pit and I would keep trying to get out of it, and like the membrane that was over them wouldn't break for me and I'd be stuck. And I literally slept on the floor of my mother's bedroom for like a month. So,
I mean, in all honesty, like when you think about these things, like for me, for the longest time, and it's probably why I never really had any sort of fond relationship towards the franchise, with most Matrix. I just couldn't. I think I watched it too early. I was not sort of ready to end it properly, and like the whole concept of it just gives me heebie-jeebies. And
it wasn't the concept that freaked me out as a kid. It was the bug coming out of his belly, out of Neo's belly button.
That didn't bother me, but it's just the concept of it, the whole concept of Matrix. And I completely see how people love it. And I think that if I watched it a few years later than I did, I would have loved this franchise as well. But I watched it too early for me, I think. And it just caused, I just never, it's just to this day, it's just not something that I would go back to. Because
I saw all of the original Lord of the Rings movies in the cinema with my dad. So that's a fun memory, except for the orc pits. Whenever the orc pits came up, I was out of there. I spent a good part of Two Towers, which is my favorite of the two, is Two Towers, which is funny. Of the three, I mean, in the bathroom at the cinema, because I was so afraid of the orc pits and the orcs, the way they were born. But I was like maybe 11 or 12. And I was in the 5th grade at the time. And I was in a remedial math class and English class with this teacher, with a special education teacher who worked with you slower. And so for Halloween, he got this really cool idea that he was going to have his English class kids write a scary story. And we would read it during our class Halloween party. And he didn't want the math kids, because some kids only came for math remedial. He didn't want them to feel left out, so he had the math kids do it too. And so the day comes when we're all reading our stories, and some of them are spooky, some of them are silly. And then this kid stands up, who would later become my best friend, Chris. At the time, I did not like him. He did not like me. This instant did not work out in my favor either. So he gets up and he starts reading. And he's reading, and everyone is enthralled. They're on the edge of their seats. And I turn to my teacher and I go, "Sir, that's just from Lord of the Rings." And he goes, "What?" And he goes over to Chris and he takes his paper and he starts reading it. Little shit wrote down a chapter from the orc pits. From Lord of the Rings to be his scary story. He didn't know that I was afraid I had an orc pit fear, but that was exactly why I recognized it right away. And like, he got a good page into it, and everyone was like thinking, "Oh my God, Chris, you're such a good writer." And then I was like, "Sir, that's Lord." He's literally reading Lord of the Rings.
The fact that teacher didn't know it, that's concerning. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, the fact that it took like little me, who was like, "La la la la, I can't hear you," because I didn't want to listen to the story.
Did you guys, now that you're talking? Oh,
you're so cute.
Did you guys? So this is like sort of an open question, but did you ever have? We used to, when I was a kid, very often we would like make a bonfire in the summer. And it was like a tradition that you would tell like folk tales and scary stories while you were sitting around a bonfire in the evening.
Yeah. We didn't have a bonfire, but I was actually what I wrote my scary story for that class was based on one that spooked me the hell out. It was about this giant that lost his big toe because a child ate it, and he then hated all children, and he chased after, and if you happened to pass by his home in the woods, he would chase you, searching, assuming you're the one who ate his big toe.
We used to do, and this was very common around sort of Beltane time. So on the 30th of April every year, where I'm from, we still do this. It's a tradition. We have a bonfire. There's sort of like a handover between seasons kind of thing. It's very pagan for a country that's non-religious for like 90% of population. I think that a lot of people stuck with it because it's a good opportunity to get drunk, but we're not going to get into that part. But there is a tradition. So we have like a bonfire. There's different traditions. We use it to roast obviously food. There was dancing. I mean, not the fire. Like, it's a bit harsh, but it's, you know, we roast the food, we roast meats, and then we usually dance. You know, there's a part of saying that like women should jump over the fire for like stuff
fertility.
Please don't jump over the fire.
Honestly, that's the least barbaric thing that like Czech traditions do. I mean, let me tell you about Czech Easter if you want a horror movie. But anyway, I swear, Google that. Google that. I mean, Google it and tell me it's not a horror. Like, yeah. But anyway, so we would do that, and every time we would like sit by the bonfire and we would just tell scary stories. Now, whenever you had these bonfires, again, Cole was there by my grandparents' house where they live, and they literally live. There's like 7 houses in the middle of absolute nowhere. There's this decrepit road that leads there, which is like 50 years old, and it's falling apart, big time. And then there is just basically a small clearing with like 7 houses and nothing, just woods and a river. And we used to have a bonfire in one of the corner of by the forest, and then you would just tell these scary stories, and then you just hear the wind behind you, and there's just pitch black darkness in the forest, and it's like it was so serene, but at the same time so scary because you're just surrounded by all this.
I mean, yeah. I practically live in a forest, so
that's true. You are,
like, literally the forest is right behind my house. There was a story a very long time ago the behind my house used to be a railroad, and the railroad, once it was defunct, most of it was gotten rid of, like, but you can still find railroad spikes and stuff. I used to collect them for fun, but my dad made me get rid of them. The box got too heavy. But so there was this story about how this man, so back in the day with old railroad tracks, they would have someone living on the side of the railroad who would basically be the maintenance guy and the signal guy, and before there was radios and what have you. So he
like
would
the station master.
What?
Like the station master.
Sort of, but it was just one family, him and his family living there, and he would like report if there was, he would be able to like send a telegram to like, hey, the trains can't come this route because my stretch is broken or snowed in or whatever. And so it was a very lonely, like literally in the middle of the woods at the time to live there. And this man was living there with his family, and something terrible happened, and his wife and child were chased onto the tracks as a train went by, and they were killed. And so you're just like hugging your dog, like.
Rachel's not gonna sleep for half a year after this.
And so it was then said that from then on, this stretch of area was haunted, but only occasionally, like not as haunted as Clinton Road, but like haunted-esque. And so bad things would happen back there. Like a few decades later, there was somebody who killed someone back there with a chainsaw. And sometimes at midnight, you could hear the train from when it used to have a train, and then you could hear a chainsaw. And so it was within the first year that my mom that we moved up here. It was like 2001. So I was about 7 years old. I already had insomnia, so I was not sleeping very well. And so I was dozing, and I wake up to the sound of a chainsaw. And I hadn't heard this story yet. So this was news to me. And so I'm like laying in bed, and I'm listening to this chainsaw noise. And then I hear a scream, and then I hear a train go by behind my house. And I used to live by a train track in my old home, so I knew what it would sound like. And so I got up and I went to my mom's room, and my mom was already awake, standing by the window, listening. And I was like, "You heard that, right?" And she was like, "Yeah, I did." And my dad, of course, slept through it, dead to the world. And so my mom calls the police and says, "Listen, this is really fucking weird." And so the cops actually at the time could fit their cruiser on the trail. So they drove back there with spotlights on, and they found no sign of anyone screaming, but they did find trees that had been torn up by a chainsaw. And that was it. It was like, but it was, and then later on, later that week, I was hanging out with some of the other kids in the neighborhood, and I said, "You wouldn't believe what happened," and they were like, "Oh yeah, that happens."
That's normal.
And they told me the story, and I was like, so I ran home like, Mom, it's a ghost. I was like, yeah. My mom's like, we're gonna say our prayers now. She was Irish Catholic, so you know exactly.
I can still hear it in her voice as well.
She called her mom. She was just like, "We need some prayers now because we both heard a ghost."
Oh, that's actually something I would do.
Irish Catholic, so yeah, probably.
It's like, there's a ghost. We're just going to pray.
We're just going to pray that we'll live till tomorrow.
Like, I'm not even messing. When I log off, I know the hall and the landing light are turned off. I'm literally grabbing my dog and I'm running up that stairs.
Yeah, it's the thing. It's like a running joke, right? That you're already like, you're a fully grown adult, but you still turn off your light and bolt into your room as if the ghost just couldn't get you when it's light on. It's like so funny.
Yeah, it's the thing. I'm like, I don't even know if I can take the stairs two at a time. I'm gonna attempt it.
Oh. When the twins were little, we went. They were always very small for their age. So when they were like sixth graders or fifth graders, they were still very small and little, and they were in the Boy Scouts at the time. And the Boy Scouts every Halloween did a haunted house that they set up themselves near a camp that's near my house. And so we went that year with his crew. Yeah, it was like it was very simple and everything. It was silly. It was actually a lot more silly than funny, than scary. And so we went. My little brother Matthew, bless him, he was like, he's always been famously very underweight, mind you. So he at that age, he was like one stiff breeze could probably knock him over, and so he got excited and he ran ahead of us, and he ran up the stairs because it was upstairs in this campground's house, and he runs up the stairs. And the door to the bathroom bangs open, and there's a man covered in blood with a chainsaw. When I tell you, he turned around and practically skied down the staircase. His feet weren't touching the stairs. They were like sliding. And thankfully, his troop leader was right by the front, because the stairs were in front of the front door. Matt would have went right out the door, but the guy saw him coming and grabbed him before he could fall out the door. And my dad's just leaning against the wall, dying. And Matt was like, no. He was so traumatized. Christian and I went up there and we had fun. There was the creepiest thing to us was the fake body they set up, because they put holes in it, and then in the holes was like spaghetti, and they called it intestines, and it was like you'd stick your hand in a plastic bag and you'd touch it and be like, oh, there's the intestine, like, ugh. But still, just seeing him fly, if you ever thought like superpowers had just manifested and he could fly, he flew right out practically out the door. He would have been across the street and into the next town over if he had
reminds me, and now this is like, but it reminds me how I laughed at my mom once. When we were younger, she would always take us to like a somewhere abroad. We usually went to like Croatia or something. And one time we went, I think it was Croatia actually at the time when we were there. And my mom, what she likes to do when she's abroad by the sea, she likes to like swim out, and she would like just literally lie on the water, because the salt water kind of keeps you afloat. So she would just usually lie there and she would almost doze off. Like, she just does that. And one time she was doing this thing, you know, she went out there, she was like relaxing. Me and my brother were back by the beach playing, and something nibbled on her foot. Because I guess half because she didn't expect it, and just like, you know, she was a bit far out and stuff. She got so freaked out. I've never seen her swim so fast. Like, she could have broken an Olympic record how fast she was. It was so funny at the time. It just reminded me when you said about Matt, because it was like, it was just, yeah. To this day, I still remember it. She forgot it, but I remember it still.
Do we know what touched? Like, was it seaweed or something?
It's probably some fish, because my mom would literally just like lie there and she wouldn't move. She wouldn't move for minutes. She would just like be there. So I think that there must have been some fish that just was like, what is this? And it just nibbled on her foot or something.
Yeah, probably was like, ngang.
But it was just, yeah.
Don't like.
To this day, whenever I remember it, my mom swears by everything that she doesn't remember it, but I do. It was just so funny to watch her swim back. Like, yeah.
So it's a little over an hour, so I'm thinking it's a good time to wrap it up. So Rachel, thank you for coming, because otherwise it would just be me and Nana staring at each other, and that's no fun for anyone. It was fun to horrify you. Hopefully you'll have to let us know if you sleep.
Thank you. I will sleep with the light on.
I'll send you some cool edits.
I'll turn on the lamp maybe.
So for the future of League of Mayhem, we're going to try to do it once a month. And we're going to try to do it with different girls each time. So you'll probably see a rotating cast of people. And we will post when we have the next date.
Yep. We're going to try and sort of get back to things. Besides League of Mayhem, I'm thinking of coming back to streaming some games. I've been obsessed with Baldur's Gate 3 lately, so I'm thinking about that. So if you like to watch someone play games, I might be doing that. Just need to get myself a better capture card. But that could be fun. So we could do that. And yeah, we'll keep people. I will be there. If nobody is great, be there.
I'll watch it.
So
yeah,
so happy. So
what were you saying?
She said you can always count on me.
Oh yeah, that's fine. I like that.
So happy Halloween, and I think we're back from the dead. Yay!
Happy Halloween, everyone. I hope you have a nice evening.
Goodbye.